Hi everyone, and this is John here with a little video on mixing flash with ambient light and also how to create an highlight next to shadow. Now because I'm pretty busy today, I haven't had a chance to bring out two video cameras, so what you'll be doing now, what you'll be seeing on PC is just a shot of Fireman Sam. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through my camera settings and tell you what I'm doing and how to achieve this look. Now let me just press play. Right, there's no settings. So basically what I've done is I've set Fireman Sam up in the garden, and it's a very overcast day. So basically what I did was I looked up in the sky and I looked where the brightest part of the sky was and where Fireman Sam was getting lit the brightest. So if you look at the position of him now, basically I've put the flash at the same position as the brightest part in the sky. I mean, it is quite overcast, so there's not much difference, but when I walked round Fireman Sam and turned him round, he was quite a bit considerably darker the other way. So I've put him in the place where the brightest part of the sky is, as if it was a big softbox, so that I'll naturally get a shadow. So what we're going to do now is, my camera settings are basically to Fireman Sam left. It's about 2 meters away. I've got a flash. It's a bare flash. I am going to use a bare flash for this video because at weddings I've found out that I don't have time to piss about with softboxes, so I'm going to have to use bare flash when I do stuff like this, and it's snooze you lose. I'll have to wait until things are better and people are paying twice as much to be able to have assistance, and then maybe we'll use softboxes as well. But for now it's going to be bare flash. So first things first, what I highly recommend is what I'm doing here now is, it's a new thing that I do, but remember when I've said to you always see three-dimensionally? So in my garden it's very untidy at the minute. It's just the back edge of winter. It's still winter really, and it's a bit messy and it's not really tidy. So I've chose my edge to use as a background, and my edge is quite considerably darker than Fireman Sam. Now I did that deliberately, intentionally. I wanted to do it. I didn't want to. There was loads of things I could have used in my back garden, but then I wouldn't have had a massive exposure change, and for this video it is really best to demonstrate it against a dark background. You can use lighter backgrounds if you like. The flash won't look as flashy if you use a brighter background, but anyway, on my camera settings I'm at an f6.3, I'm at 1/100 of a second at ISO 100. Now one of the first things first, I'll just take a shot. Now obviously you didn't see that, but that'll be the shot that you've been looking at while I've been talking all this time. Let me just take a look. Okay, and it's not too bad. You'll see Fireman Sam's lit, and the background's quite dark out of the camera. I'm not going to do any post, but what I'm going to do for this shot, I'm actually going to underexpose the ambient light. I'm at 2/50th of a second now, which is my flash sync speed. Now I have got high speed sync on the flash, so I can go up to what I like, but we'll stick to the flash sync speed for the video. And I'm going to take the shot again. And now when I look at the histogram, I can see that that's quite considerably darker. I am in manual, by the way. It is quite considerably darker than the other one. So now what we've just done there is, if you look at Fireman's right hand side, we've now got some shadow. Now what we need to do is bring the flash in the direction of the sun. Now I'm just going to, for this video, I'm just going to go around. You're probably not going to see this until you see the shot. I'll just turn Fireman Sam round a bit. And now we're going to enable the flash. So we're going to the menu, flash control, and I'm going to enable it. And I'm going to take the shot. And if you look at that shot, I'll show you the before and after in Lightroom. I'll go before and after, and you'll see we've got some nice shadow. Now, all I've got to do is, if I want to bring that shadow down a bit more, is, let me see if what my flash is in. Oh, sorry, my flash was in ETTL then. So that was an ETTL shot with -1 exposure compensation. So I'll take it as ETTL and that the flash bringing the light for Sam fully. You should see that this will be quite considerably brighter than the other one. Not a great deal, but it's a stock brighter. And you'll see that that looks pretty darn good. Now all we've got to do is, if we want to control the shadow, is speed the shutter up. The flash should stay the same, especially because it's in ETTL. So I'll go to a 400 of a second, which is 2 stops underneath the ambient. And you'll see that with that shot, the flash will look very similar, but if I'm going before, after, you'll really see a massive difference in that shadow. So what we'll do is we'll take it down to a 320th, 250, and that's it. Basically, I'm happy with 250. I might even try 320. And there you go. Now that's ETTL, getting a nice highlight next to shadow when they ain't a shadow, because you all know that when you shoot in cloudy days that there's no, you can't really, it's hard to find a directional light, because to be honest, if I rotate Fireman Sam round now, it pretty much looks like that all the way around. So what we've got to do is underexpose the ambient a little bit so that it's a bit darker on the side where we want the shadow, and then bring the flash in where we would want the light to come from. And then that way we can create a highlight next to shadow. I hope that clears things up. I will put the flash in manual. I mean, well, no, there's no need. I'm using ETTL, but you can use manual. I do recommend, though, that when you take your first shot, that you do it at around 1/250 of a second. Because what you can do then, by doing that, if the shadow's not dark enough for you at, say, stop, you can speed it up to 250th and not go above your sync speed. Or you can slow it down and you can even brighten the shadow up more. So I started off at 250th, which really, if you didn't have high speed sync, you wouldn't be able to darken the shadow anymore on a normal flash, because what would happen is you'd start busting above your sync speed. But with me having high speed sync, I'll just shoot a shot at 2000 of a second, just for the video, and I really heard that flash pop there, and you'll see now we've really killed that ambient. But you wouldn't be able to do that on a flash that doesn't have high speed sync. So high speed sync is a god saver, because it stops you. Like if I was at a wedding now, I wouldn't have to think, well, I need to stay in my sync speed. I mean, I do think like that, but I wouldn't have to think like that. I know that I can be at 250th or 200, so I've got a good start off, and if my shadow's a bit bright, I can just go to 400, as long as my flash is bare. And if I had a softbox on, you wouldn't really be wanting to do that. But yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry, I started off at 1 stop underexposed, then went to 1 1/3, 1 2/3, and that's how I did that one. We'll do one more now at 2 full stops underexposed, and we'll go at 2 2/3, 2 2/3, and 3 stops underneath the ambient. Now, I just did that just so you can really see the difference of the shadow. Now, admittedly, that last shot was at 6/40th of a second, which you won't be able to do without high speed sync. So you do have to watch that if you haven't got high speed sync. But to be honest, for the price of flashes now, there's no reason why you shouldn't have an high speed sync flash. And to be honest, it'll make life a bloody lot easier for you, especially if you're using raw flash. If you're going to be using softboxes and stuff, you definitely need to really be staying in your sync speed, unless you're going to really have that light on the top of the model's face. Then obviously, I mean, to be fair now, it is quite dull out here today. I mean, if I give you an exposure at ISO 100, for that exposure now, which I'll fire it on, let me just turn my flash off, flash control, disable it. I'll just take a shot now with a natural light. That is f5.6, 1/250 of a second at ISO 100. So it is quite dull in here today. So to be honest, I could have put a softbox on that and it probably still would have shot at 400 or 500 of a second at f8 or something like that. But obviously, I'm talking if you want to use this technique in a bright sunny day or whatever like that, remember to see 3-dimensionally. And now I'll just tell you my focal length as well, which I forgot. I'm at 105mm at f5.6. I've made sure that the subject is quite close to me so that I blur the background, so the background goes out of focus. So you have got to see 3-dimensionally. I mean, I could show you the same shot if I just hang on. I mean, we'll just show you what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to show you the previous picture. And this is just natural light. I'm not going to go bringing in flash, but can you see that's a natural light picture, choosing my background wisely. So if that was a bride with a nice white veil, you could even expose for the veil and blow the veil out a little bit and you'd have a gorgeous image. And if you go to that one, so you can see same shot there, the exact same shot, just framing the shot slightly different, not choosing my background correctly and not paying attention to what is going on. Anyway, thanks for watching, please comment and subscribe.